Stop telling your team what to do and start asking them these 4 questions. It will change everything. Jake went from 200 calls a day down to 20. Here's the framework that did it. It's smoko time. You're on your 50th phone call, you look down, and it's James again for the 5th time today. And you think to yourself, for fuck's sakes, can't you just... But you pick up the phone and you say, hey mate, how is it? And you know this is going to continue all day. You can't get 20 minutes of peace to get any work done, let alone the 4 hours you need to get that tender finished. This is the reality for most trade business owners and leaders in trade businesses. Your team constantly asks you for questions. You feel like a human Google. If only, and you start to think, if only I could create an AI that could give them all the answers. But the reality, this isn't a team problem. There's nothing wrong with your team. They've just been trained. When you give someone instruction, what do? Hey, could you go pick up that bottle for me? They blindly go off, pick up the bottle and bring it back. And we have been conditioned to do this our entire lives. At school, they give us instructions, we blindly follow. We get rewarded for conformity to it, and we get disciplined for stepping off. So we're trained to follow. The thing is, followers create more work for the leaders. Why do you think teachers are exhausted? Because they're constantly got a class full of followers. Why do you think it's hard for you? Because your team is full of followers. They wait to be told what to do. They're scared to make a mistake, so they call you every single time just to check. Because what do they want to do? Do the right thing, and they want to follow their instructions. People genuinely want to do the right thing. Now that we know what the real problem is, that's really exciting. We've created a team that won't think and won't act for themselves because they follow orders. They wait to be told what to do. They wait for an instruction. Now we understand the problem. The good news, we can fix it. It doesn't have to be this way. The thing is, leaders think and act for themselves. Think about your best guys. Why are they your best guys? They make decisions on site. They take ownership of things, they show up on time, they do the things that leaders do, right? So what's your job as a trade business owner? It's to create more leaders in your business, because leaders make your life easy, follower create more work for you and make your life hard. If everyone would just think and act like an owner, show up on time with energy and do the work that you set out and do the work they know they need to do, how much easier would your life be? There's one tool that I use with my coaching clients inside the Arena Academy that changes everything. This one thing gets your team thinking for themselves, solving problems on their own, giving you more time and more freedom to be able to do the things that matter in your business. And as a result, your business grows and your team are happier. This is the magic of the micro coaching moment. It's such a powerful tool, and I'll walk through it in a minute. It's 4 simple questions executed consistently that changes the way you lead and the way your team show up every single day. You see, thinking and acting like owners isn't about them having part of the business. It isn't that they don't care. Thinking and acting like an owner is about being decisive, making decisions, and knowing when to ask for help and when to figure it out. You see, that's the secret. And this framework does that. Let me get into it. Here's question 1. What's the actual problem? Help your team define the actual problem, because a problem defined is a problem half solved. When your team can clearly articulate the problem to you, they've almost certainly already worked out at least 1 or 2 possible solutions. The thing is, when you don't know the problem, it's really hard to find a solution. We want to make sure as a leader that we're solving the right problem. We're not solving a symptom, we're not solving a follow-on thing, we're solving the actual problem we need solved. So, make sure your team brings you the actual problem. We don't just do this, but we teach our team this and then we coach them through it. This looks like when your team calls, hey, I need to know this. Okay, cool. What's the problem? What do you actually need help with? Well, I'm just not sure whether I do it like this or like this. Okay, awesome. Acknowledge and celebrate when they bring you the real problem. Now we know what we're working with. Now I can help facilitate the way forward for them. This one tool, defining the problem, helps your team start to understand what they're actually trying to solve. Half of the time, they will get to this point and go, never mind, I know what to do. Because they know what the problem is. They weren't actually confused about what to do, they just didn't know the real problem. Your team are really smart, really talented people, and if they're not, I'm going to question why they're in your team. They're smart, talented people, let them think for themselves. The reason they don't is because you think for them. The flip side of that conversation is, hey Mick, what do I do here? Yeah, go down to the wholesaler and grab the parts you need. I'll meet you on site. I immediately took away, they are now just following instructions. I robbed their ability to think for themselves because I gave them the answer. This isn't about making it hard. This is about coaching your team to think for themselves over a short period of time so that they no longer require as much help from you. I know this might feel uncomfortable. I know it did for me. The first time I implemented this, it felt quite awkward. I felt like I was being disingenuous and not being helpful. I really like to help people, but when I saw the difference it made, not only in me, but in the way they showed up and how engaged and how empowered they were to do their job, I realized that this was the secret sauce. Question number 2. Options. What are our options? You want at least 3. 1 option is no choice. 2 options isn't much better. 3 at least gives you a choice. So when they come to you, and if we go back to the other example, when James calls up and he's, what's the problem? Now you can say, okay, what are our options? Note the language, not what are you going to do about it? It's what are our options? This feels like he's part of the team and like you're supporting him through it. He's going to give you the option. He goes, oh, we could possibly try this. Okay, what else? What we're doing here is teaching them critical problem-solving skills and how to think. This might feel slow and painful if you're a fast and decisive business owner like I was. I promise you this investment in 3 minutes is worth every cent. You will come back to me and say, Mick, that YouTube video you shared with me of that coaching moment, it was a game changer and it was worth the 3 minutes every time instead of the 30 seconds to give them the answer. Because they've stopped calling me for dumb shit. The things that you thought were dumb and obvious, it's because they didn't know how to think for themselves and you had all the information stuck up here. We want to teach them how to think for themselves so they can work it out too. So what are their options? Don't accept 1 or 2. What else? What else? What else? This is the magic. What else is one of the most powerful questions you can use as a leader because it displays curiosity and it uncovers the real truth behind things and not the surface level problem or the surface level solution. This is where you can use your knowledge and skills and intuition as a leader. If their options are nothing like what you would do and you can see a different option, you say, what else? I can see another option. What else? This is where you coach them to come up with the options that's going to best suit them. Now, we don't tell them the answer. We don't give them the solution and we don't choose the decision for them. Question number 3 is one of the most important questions. Recommend. What do you recommend? What do you recommend? What do you think's the best option? What do you reckon we should do? You're on site, you've got all the information. What do you think will work best? Some version of that. This is their choice. If your team thinks through the problem and chooses the solution, they will own it, they will execute at a level you've never seen. Try this in your business today. I promise you it will make a difference in the way your team executes. Recommend. Do not choose the answer for them. You will undo the first 2 minutes of conversation and it will be a waste. Let them choose an answer. If they choose one that's going to completely fuck things up and make a big deal, so I don't think that's going to work, what else can we try? Walk me through why you think that's the best decision. This is where we can coach them to make the right decision, not just say, no, don't do that, do this. Because when we do that, we disempower them, we take the decision away, and we make them, they are no longer responsible for the choice. Because if it doesn't work out, what do they say? Oh, well, that's what you told me to do. They've got an excuse, which is you. Because you gave them the answer, you gave them the solution, you own the problem, you own the fuck up, not them. They were just following orders. Yeah? Leaders create other leaders and leaders think through problems and make decisions and know when to ask for help. So when they come to you, let them choose the way forward. My guidance to you is this. If the solution they pick is different to what you would pick, but it won't cost you any more money and it won't hurt anyone, let them do it. It's their choice. There's more than one way to skin a cat. I learned a really cool exercise from one of my managers, actually brought it to our weekly staff meeting over 10 years ago now. We were having a conversation about how we explain things to people. And he gave a set of instructions to the entire workforce. 40 tradesmen and apprentices standing around, electricians, refrigeration, chippies, the whole crew standing around. And he said, draw me a pig. So off they went. We gave them all a piece of paper and a pen and they drew a pig. And by God, there was some differences. Holy smokes. I reckon there was about 15 versions of a pig. I didn't know you could have that many profiles of a pig. And that really highlighted the power of how we communicate with our people and the different ways. Every single one of them hit the mark and completed the goal because they all drew a pig. Some was a headshot, some was side on, some was turning, some were running, some was on its back, there was so many different ways. So if the team is going to get the outcome you want, let them do it. There's many ways to skin a cat. Super, super important. Now the fourth one is an addition that I've added later on because I realized my team felt unsupported or they felt like I was sending them away. So this one piece is what keeps them feeling included, makes them feel like you are helping them along the way, but also you actually are providing an opportunity to make things easier for them. What do you need from me to move forward and get this done? Is there anything missing? Maybe it's information, maybe it's resources, maybe it's materials. They come up with a solution. Yeah, we're going to run it like this. Okay, awesome, off you go. And then they go, oh shit, that's not going to work. I need X, Y, and Z. How am I going to do it? And then they're stuck again and they're ringing you back 5 minutes later to say, hey, I can't do this on my own. I'm going to need X, blah, blah, blah. And they come back to you with more questions. This last one is so important. And this is how you go from excellent. This is like a level up. This is like expert level shit. Is there anything you need for me to make that happen? No, mate, I've got everything I need. Excellent, go nail it. Let me know how you go when you're done. Actually, I'm probably gonna need someone to come and help me, or I'm gonna need an extension ladder, I'm gonna need this, or I'm gonna need whatever it is, right? Hey, I'm actually gonna need a different welder because that's not gonna work, whatever it is. This is where you can make sure your team has the answers and you will get less phone calls and less follow-up because of it, and they will feel like you have given them everything they need because you asked the question. Even if you don't send them anything, even if you don't give them any more resources, you've asked the question and they know you care and they feel like you've given them what they need to go and execute. It's such a powerful question. Follow this framework and watch your team transform. It's the same framework that Jake implemented to go from hundreds of calls a day to 20 or 30, right? He checks in twice a day with each of his team leaders now. He calls them twice a day to see how they're progressing for the day. They don't call him with dumb questions anymore because he's coached them and they can think and act for themselves. Owen, same thing. Mark, another client of mine, implemented the same thing. He's now got 8 guys and he gets hardly any calls for them because he's used this framework over and over. He checks in on them a couple times a day to make sure they've got what they need. His team love it. It's such a great culture and such a powerful team because he uses this framework. This is just one of the coaching frameworks we teach inside the Arena Academy. That's our program that we've built for trade business owners doing over $1 million. And we teach you how to be the leader your business needs and how to upgrade the leadership in your business. It's such a unique place that people bring their team to the events. They bring their team to the Zooms. And that's the difference between my program and others. Your team's included because when you've got a business full of leaders, everything gets easier, not just for you, but for them. This is just one of many frameworks and leadership tools that we show as a part of our system. We help create clarity, confidence, and growth within the leaders and trade business. It makes things easier to manage and more profitable. Hit the subscribe button if you thought this was useful. Like, follow for more. There's a whole bunch of stuff you're supposed to do on YouTube. Click the link. If you want to chat to one of our leadership coaches and understand more about this tool, how you can use it in your business, or what it might look like to work with us, there's a link in the comments. Click the link and I'd love to see you on the inside. Talk soon.